Barakata Yahweh, Barakata Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Barakahakodash, Barakatum. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, glory, and infinite honors to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai. Double honors to the apostles and elders, a great millstone who rule and teach well. In peace and salutations to you sincere Akim out there, pushing this word in truth and sincerity to the four corners of the globe. May you brothers endure until the end. This is the brother Ra'aya with another video, and I'm going to start it off in Jeremiah chapter 50, verse 41. Behold, a people shall come from the north, as it says up in verse 9, the north country. And that people from the north is speaking of these Russians, because what's north of the United States of America? Canada, that Arctic Ocean region, and then Russia, and a great nation. And many kings shall be raised up from the coasts of the earth. And these many kings raised up from the coasts of the earth are these different nations that are going to go against the United States of America during World War III. Not only Russia's allies like China, Iran, and North Korea, but also the allies of the United States of America who are going to turn against her at some point during World War III to ally themselves with that north country, Russia, such as Britain, France, Germany, these other NATO nations, etc., etc. And all together, they're going to shoot 200 million nuclear missiles onto the United States of America, as it says in Revelation chapter 17, verse 16, dealing with America's allies, the 10 horns which thou sawest upon the beast, those 10 horns representing the EU or European Union, and the beast being NATO, these shall hate the whore on the beast, the United States, and shall eat her flesh and burn her with fire, nuclear fire. Verse 42, they shall hold the bow and the lance, symbolic for these nuclear missiles, because what do bows shoot? Arrows, in this case nuclear arrows. And what you have to remember is that when the prophets saw these visions thousands of years ago, they didn't know what a modern day nuclear weapon was, so they had to describe it the best way they could with what they knew during their times. Ancient weapons of war like bows and arrows, lances, spears, javelins, flying swords, you name it. They are cruel and will not shew mercy. Their voice shall roar like the sea, and they shall ride upon horses, every one put in array like a man to the battle against thee, O daughter of Babylon, the virgin daughter of Babylon, mystery Babylon, Babylon the Great, the mother of harlots back in Revelation 17, the United States of America. And when you go to Psalms 137, you'll see that these Edomites are synonymous with the daughter of Babylon. I'm going to jump up to verse 40. As the Most High overthrew Sodom and Gomorrah and the neighbor cities thereof, saith Yahweh, so shall no man abide there, neither shall any son of man dwell therein. And how did the Most High overthrow ancient Sodom and Gomorrah? With fire and brimstone from the sky, to where it was completely uninhabitable until this day. And besides being known as Babylon in the scriptures, the United States of America is also known as spiritual Sodom and Egypt, as pursuant to Revelation 11, verse 8. And it will also become uninhabitable to man, woman, or child after it's hit by those 200 million nuclear missiles. And after a time, only desert creatures will dwell here. Verse 39, therefore the wild beasts of the desert with the wild beasts of the islands shall dwell there, and the owls shall dwell therein, and it shall be no more inhabited forever, neither shall it be dwelt in from generation to generation. And the former United States of America will also stand as an eternal memorial as to what a wicked kingdom looked like and what the judgment was for its wickedness, and also afflicting the apple of the Most High's eye, the true children of Israel, who were known as the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans today. And I opened up the video with these verses to preface an article on thesun.com titled, Shock and Awe, Russia fires 7,000 mile per hour Zircon hypersonic nuke missile as unstoppable weapon, just weeks away from being used on warships, just to show that the North country, Russia is getting prepared to eventually shoot its nuclear missiles onto the United States of America. And besides articles like this talking about Russia testing new nuclear capable weapons and putting them into use, what have we also seen? Russia making veiled and direct threats to its enemies in the West, chiefly the United States of America, for them constantly interfering in their affairs. World War III is inevitable, and it will go nuclear. This is Revelation chapter 9, verse 12. One woe or destruction is past, referring to World War I. And behold, there come two woes more hereafter. World War II, which is past, and was the first war to see the use of nuclear weapons, beginning with those 2 atomic bombs dropped on Nagasaki and Hiroshima. And the third woe, which is coming quickly, World War III. Russia has fired today the new 7,000 mile per hour hypersonic Zircon nuclear missile in another chilling warning to the West, more specifically the daughter of Babylon, the United States. Dramatic footage shows the unstoppable weapon ahead of its deployment on warships in a few weeks. It comes after Russia staged nuclear missile drills earlier this week, rehearsing how it could destroy the West within minutes. Footage showed the massive hypersonic ballistic missile launchers being transported through the forest in the Ivanovo region, and in the latest show of strength, the 7,000 mile per hour Zircon was fired from the Admiral Gorshkov frigate in the Barents Sea and hit a target at a range of 625 miles in the White Sea. A statement from the Russian Defense Ministry said, according to objective control data, the Zircon hypersonic cruise missile successfully hit a sea target located at a distance of about 1,000 kilometers. The flight of the hypersonic missile corresponded to the specific parameters. Deliveries of the Zircon are due within months and possibly weeks. The Kremlin had previously branded the deadly weapon, which carries a conventional or nuclear warhead, unstoppable. Russia released footage of the deadly weapon that could hit London in 5 minutes back in March. And hey, jolly old London's going to get hit by some nukes as well. In January, Deputy Defense Minister Alexei Krivoruchko said the state tests of the Zircon sea-based hypersonic cruise missile are nearing completion. From 2022, serial deliveries will begin, and Apostle Tahar has deemed 2022 to be the year of Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai turning things up. And just from this article, as well as everything else that's been happening this year, we can see that things are turning up exponentially. The Zircon will be deployed on Russian frigates and later on submarines. Earlier, it was identified by Moscow's state-controlled TV as Putin's weapon of choice to wipe out American, Babylonian cities in the event, the inevitability of an atomic conflict. TV Zvezda, a channel owned by the Russian Defense Ministry, said of the footage, the Russian hypersonic missile's stealth features have been disclosed. The speed of the Zircon hypersonic missile is so high that it prevents the opponent's air defense system from detecting its impact in time. In fact, its launch will be known only after the target has been hit. And this is a part of biblical prophecy as well. This is Joel chapter 2. I'm going to start at verse 1. Blow ye the trumpet in Zion, and sound an alarm in my holy mountain. Let all the inhabitants of the land tremble, for the day of Yahweh cometh, for it is nigh at hand. A day of darkness and of gloominess, a day of clouds and of thick darkness, as the morning spread upon the mountains. A great people and a strong. Speaking of these nuclear weapons, there had not been ever the like, talking about how these nuclear weapons came about very recently, Again, beginning with those 2 atomic bombs dropped on Nagasaki and Hiroshima during the Second World War II, back in 1945, neither shall be any more after it, even to the years of many generations. When all these nations go to shoot their nuclear missiles, every single one will be used. There won't be a single missile left in these silos or other launch platforms. And then after the dust settles, Yahawashi Hamashiach, whom the world ignorantly refers to as so-called Jesus Christ, along with the 144,000 who are fishers of men right now, out on the highways and byways preaching this word, as well as putting up video epistles like this, are going to become those hunters with spiritual powers. And Abaratazah, I'm of that number. We're going to round up you remaining heathens, beginning with the elites, and slap chains on you so you can serve for 1,000 years of hardcore bondage and slavery, building up the kingdom of heaven. And we won't allow you to build weapons of war anymore. A fire devoureth before them, that warhead at the front of the missile, and behind them a flame burneth, the rocket booster on the back of the missile. The land is as the Garden of Eden before them. The land is normal. You have cities, people, animals, forests, life going on as normal. And behind them, a desolate wilderness. After those nuclear missiles detonate, the land is turned into a wasteland, like these post-apocalyptic movies or video games. Fallout, Mad Max, and nothing shall escape them. The appearance of them is as the appearance of horses, and as horsemen, so shall they run. Like the noise of chariots on the tops of mountains shall they leap, like the noise of a flame of fire that devoureth the stubble, as a strong people set in battle array. And again, the prophets didn't know what nuclear weapons were thousands of years ago, so they described it the best way they could with what they knew during their times. Weapons of war, horsemen, chariots, soldiers, bows and arrows. Before their face, the people shall be much pained. All faces shall gather blackness, or ash, soot. These people getting burnt to a crisp by these nuclear missiles. But here's the point I wanted to get to. They shall run like mighty men. They shall climb the wall like men of war, and they shall march everyone on his ways, and they shall not break their ranks. Neither shall one thrust another. They shall walk everyone in his path. And when they shall fall upon the sword, they shall not be wounded. And that sword is referring to these anti-missile defense systems, which are going to fail in that day, because the spirit of Yahweh Bahashem Yahawashi is going to be controlling those anti-missile defense systems to fail in that day. And also, the spirit of the Most High is going to be on those nuclear missiles to march everyone on his ways and not break their ranks and reach their targets without any problems, and to also get past those anti-missile defense systems without a hitch. And when they shall fall upon the sword, they shall not be wounded. Again, the speed of the Zircon hypersonic missile is so high that it prevents the opponent's air defense system from detecting its impact in time. In fact, its launch will be known only after the target has been hit. Though they fall upon the sword, they shall not be wounded. The missile also has a variable trajectory to avoid detection, viewers were told. The Zircon, or Zircon, is only one of Putin's terrifying superweapons. The deadly RS-28 Sarmat missile can fly 11,000 miles, carry 15 warheads, and has the potential to destroy an area the size of France. Earlier this week, Putin ally Dmitry Rogozin boasted how Russia is set to deploy 50 Satan II nukes. He previously bragged to a group of school children that the missile will take up combat duty this year. Another of Putin's superweapons is the SCX-9 Skyfall, a nuclear-armed cruise missile that has an unlimited range. It can be launched from land or sea and is able to stay aloft for days, making even long-distance attacks light work. The fearsome nuclear-armed submarine drone, Poseidon, can cause tidal waves and radioactive tsunamis, the nuclear weapon can be dropped onto the seabed by the submarine and travel through shore defenses until it reaches the desired location, again, falling upon that sword and not being wounded. So with this article, but as we can clearly see, that North Country is getting prepared to come against Babylon the Great and take her with those bows and lances, those nuclear missiles, and turn her into a modern day Sodom and Gomorrah, an uninhabitable wasteland. So that's it with this video. And with this video, I hope you sincere Akim and Akwath were edified. Just keep strong. We're almost out of this final wicked captivity of the heathen nations, chiefly of the Edomites. And as always, I'm going to say Abad Babal, Kwam Yasharala, and until next time, Shalom.